GxP Guidelines. GxP Guidelines, also known as Good Practice Guidelines, refer to a set of quality regulations and principles that are followed in various industries, particularly in regulated sectors such as pharmaceuticals, biotechnology, medical devices, food, and cosmetics. GxP guidelines ensure that these industries adhere to specific standards and practices to maintain product quality, safety, and efficacy throughout their life cycle. The G in GxP can represent various aspects, such as good manufacturing practice, GMP, good laboratory practice, GLP, good clinical practice, GCP, good distribution practice, GDP, and so on, depending on the specific industry or activity being regulated. These guidelines are established by regulatory authorities, such as the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, FDA, European Medicines Agency, EMA, and other similar agencies worldwide. The purpose of GxP guidelines is to ensure that companies operating in these regulated industries maintain high standards in areas such as manufacturing, quality control, documentation, record-keeping, validation, personnel training, and overall compliance with applicable regulations. The specific requirements and implementation of GxP guidelines may vary based on the industry and regulatory jurisdiction. Here are some key aspects of GxP guidelines. 1. Good Manufacturing Practice, GMP. GMP guidelines outline the principles and procedures that manufacturers must follow to ensure that products are consistently produced and controlled to meet quality standards. These standards cover areas such as facility design, equipment qualification, process validation, batch documentation, and product testing. 2. Good Laboratory Practice, GLP. GLP guidelines define the standards for conducting non-clinical laboratory studies, including safety assessments and efficacy testing of substances. These guidelines ensure that laboratory studies are conducted in a reliable, consistent, and accurate manner. 3. Good Clinical Practice, GCP. GCP guidelines provide a framework for the design, conduct, monitoring, recording, and reporting of clinical trials involving human subjects. Compliance with GCP guidelines helps ensure the rights, safety, and well-being of trial participants and the credibility of trial data. 4. Good Distribution Practice, GDP. GDP guidelines govern the proper distribution and transportation of medicinal products. These guidelines ensure that products are stored, transported, and handled under appropriate conditions to maintain their quality, integrity, and traceability. 5. Documentation and record-keeping. GxP guidelines emphasize the importance of accurate and complete documentation throughout the product lifecycle. This includes maintaining comprehensive records of activities, processes, and decisions, as well as ensuring data integrity and traceability. 6. Training and personnel qualifications. GxP guidelines require companies to establish training programs and ensure that personnel involved in regulated activities are appropriately qualified, trained, and competent to perform their assigned tasks. 7. Validation and qualification. GxP guidelines emphasize the need for validating critical processes, systems, and equipment to ensure their reliability and performance. This includes activities such as process validation, equipment qualification, and computer system validation. Compliance with GxP guidelines is typically enforced through inspections, audits, and regulatory approvals. Non-compliance can lead to regulatory actions, product recalls, financial penalties, and damage to a company's reputation. It's important to note that GxP guidelines are evolving and subject to updates and revisions as new technologies, scientific knowledge, and regulatory requirements emerge. Companies operating in regulated industries must stay up to date with the latest guidelines and ensure ongoing compliance to ensure the quality and safety of their products.